Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain the second part of the action sci-fi movie Parasite. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with the police using a serial killer named Uragami to identify mysterious aliens that have invaded the humans. These aliens are called the parasites and infect the humans by entering their brains. These parasites take over the human consciousness and turn them into violent cannibals. The police are hopeful about identifying the aliens through Uragami, who has witnessed the parasites feeding on humans before. They bring Shinichi before the serial killer, but he fails to identify him. After being let go, Shinichi continues to hunt down the parasites, who terrorize the humans for food, with the help of Migi, the parasite that affects his right hand. Although Shinichi is still a human, he is progressively growing stronger because of Migi. Using his powers, he effortlessly takes down a parasite feeding on a human in an abandoned building. After killing the alien, Shinichi feels someone's presence outside and rushes to inspect. However, he fails to notice an investigative journalist named Shiro Kuramori hiding behind a pile of junk. The city's mayor, Takeshi Hirokawa, who has also been taken over by the parasites, grows worried about Shinichi killing the aliens. He complains about Shinichi to Ryoko Tamiya, the leader of the parasites, but she forbids him from going after the boy. Tamiya, who now is a mother to a human baby, intends to use Shinichi and Migi for her research on the parasites' coexistence with the humans. Afterwards, Hirokawa meets with another parasite named Goto. Goto is an extremely powerful parasite, as his body is made up of 5 different parasites. Goto advises Hirokawa to kill Shinichi. It is then revealed that Kuramori was hired by Tamiya to spy on Shinichi. He hands her the evidence he has collected so far and suggests they should give it to the police. However, Tamiya advises him against it, saying they need more information on the boy. Kuramori, who is a single father of a girl named Yumi, has grown close to Tamiya over time. He relates to Tamiya, who is also a single parent, and agrees to continue to gather more information on Shinichi. Shinichi eventually catches Kuramori following him, red-handed with a camera, and confronts him. Migi asks Shinichi to kill the reporter, but he refuses to kill a human. After learning that Tamiya had hired him to spy on them, Migi tells the reporter that she is a parasite herself, and much more dangerous than other parasites. Shinichi and Migi tell Kuramori that he is playing with fire and advise him to stay away from Tamiya and keep a low profile. Kuramori is in utter disbelief, but decides to continue his investigation. He goes on to interview the mayor, Hirokawa, about the parasites. Afraid of being exposed, Hirokawa orders his men to kill the reporter after the interview. Meanwhile, Migi senses the presence of 5 parasites nearby while returning home from school. Migi advises Shinichi to run away. However, they are eventually caught, and to their astonishment, they learn that they are faced with a man that has 5 monsters in his body. A cat and mouse chase follows. After reading the man's brainwaves, Migi advises Shinichi to kill the original monster using his speed. Shinichi then swings by a tree and beheads the monster. They then run away, and the man again comes back to life. The parasite in the man's right hand, who is revealed to be Goto, takes the place of the head and orders the parasite in the severed head, Miki, to occupy the right hand. When Kuramori returns home, he finds police in front of his building. Panicking, he runs to his apartment to learn that his daughter has been killed by the parasites who had come looking for him. Kuramori is traumatized by his daughter's death and refuses to cooperate with Detective Hirama. Meanwhile, Tamiya is furious to learn that the parasites tried to kill Shinichi and Kuramori. She expresses regret over the senseless killing of Kuramori's daughter. She fears that senselessly killing humans could give rise to an uprising strong enough to exterminate all parasites. She then threatens to kill Hirokawa and the other parasites herself if they again try to undermine her authority. Ever since Tamiya has given birth to her human son, she is increasingly exhibiting more and more human instincts, such as kindness and going above and beyond to care for one's own child. She breastfeeds the baby and tries to make him laugh by making funny expressions. Detective Hirama learns that Kuramori has fled from the hotel, where he was kept under police protection, and immediately heads out to look for the bereaved father with his unit. Swearing revenge, Kuramori kidnaps Tamiya's son and leaves her a note, calling her to a park so she can see him kill her baby. Tamiya immediately rushes to Shinichi's home to seek his help. However, Shinichi isn't home, and she runs into his girlfriend, Satomi. Satomi gives Tamiya Shinichi's number. Tamiya explains to him on the phone that she is not responsible for the parasites coming after them and asks for his help to save her baby. As Tamiya and Shinichi arrive at the park to meet Kuromori, the Japanese Special Assault Team, SAT, led by Yamagishi, starts preparing to raid the town hall to kill all the parasites after learning the truth about Hirokawa, the city's mayor. People inside the building are ordered to vacate the premises. They are made to undergo an X-ray scan, and the monsters identified by the X-ray machine are executed on the spot. After evacuating the civilians, the SAT team then storms into the building and corners Hirokawa. After finding himself cornered, Hirokawa goes on a rant against humans, calling them the real parasites. I guess Hirokawa had been watching The Matrix. But Yamagishi cuts his monologue short and sprays bullets into his body. To his astonishment, Yamagishi realizes that Hirokawa is actually a human. Hirokawa was helping the monsters because of his principles and beliefs. Just as the armed men begin to wrap their heads around the revelation, the last remaining parasite, Goto, shows up. The SAT team bombards the monster with bullets, and he blocks them without much effort. At the park, Tamiya explains to Kuromori that she didn't order the killing of his daughter, but Kuromori, blinded by revenge, refuses to believe her. Shinichi also tries to persuade him against harming the innocent baby. However, Kuromori is hell-bent on avenging his daughter's death. As he proceeds to throw Tamiya's son from the bridge, the police arrive. Left with no other choice, Tamiya kills Kuromori and saves her son, exposing herself in the process. Kuromori falls to his death, and the police point their guns at Tamiya. Shinichi is stunned that Tamiya exposed her identity to save a human baby's life. Instead of running away, Tamiya starts walking towards Shinichi with the baby. Detective Hirama warns her against taking another step, but she continues to walk towards Shinichi, and the police sprays her with bullets. Clinging to her last few breaths, she hands the baby to Shinichi and tells him that she doesn't wish to run away because she doesn't want her son to live the life of a fugitive. She asks Shinichi to look after her son before collapsing and passing away. Shinichi breaks into tears because he doesn't want to take care of this stupid baby, but also because Tamiya reminds him of his late mother. Satomi arrives on the scene and comforts her boyfriend. As Detective Hirama proceeds to take Shinichi for an interrogation, he is informed that the SAT team is dead. He immediately rushes to the town hall with Shinichi. At the town hall, Goto throws Yamagishi's severed head before Hirama. Angered, Hirama shoots the parasite, but it deflects the bullets back at him, killing him on the spot. The police retreat, while sensing danger to his life, Shinichi flees in a car. Goto follows him on a motorbike and eventually catches up to him. Before Shinichi and Migi can even realize, Goto jumps on top of his car and attacks him. Migi drives the car as Shinichi tries to dodge the parasite's attack. A long struggle follows, and Migi eventually loses control of the car and it drives off a bridge. However, Migi manages to save Shinichi and itself. Goto sustains injury but also survives the crash and starts chasing the two into the forest. Migi comes up with a plan and they decide to ambush the parasite. Migi attacks the parasite from a tree and Shinichi sneaks up on him from behind, but the parasite tanks their plan. Left with no choice, Migi asks Shinichi to run away as it keeps the parasite busy. Shinichi refuses to sacrifice his friend, but Migi forces him to go. Goto eventually kills Migi, and Shinichi runs away. Shinichi seeks refuge in an abandoned building and calls Satomi. He is devastated by Migi's death because playing with his hand in his room will never be the same again, and Satomi comforts him. She reminds him that he still has her, and this is not the end. The two then start making out. The next morning, Shinichi discovers that a part of Migi is still in his right hand due to his body being infected with Migi's cell. In the previous part of the film, Migi had used its cells to repair Shinichi's heart, damaged by a parasite. Shinichi also realizes that if Migi is still a part of his body, Goto can use that to track him. He freaks out and proceeds to flee with his girlfriend. However, the parasite catches up to them. To save Satomi's life, Shinichi reveals his location and lures Goto into a garbage disposal facility. A battle follows. Goto badly batters the boy, but even without Migi, he holds his own. He grabs a metal rod and stabs Goto with it, but barely does any harm to him. Goto then proceeds to kill Shinichi, but suddenly, Migi comes to life. It is revealed that Migi had not died. It had transferred to Goto's hand. Migi returns to Shinichi's right hand, and Goto starts disintegrating because of the toxins released by Migi in his body. At last, the final monster Goto's torso with a beating heart remains. Migi reveals that there's a 50-50 chance of Goto surviving. Refusing to let that happen, Shinichi proceeds to kill the monster, but suddenly remembers Tamiya's words that these parasites are just trying to survive on Earth, like the humans. But Shinichi ultimately decides that even if the parasites are just trying to survive, he must protect the ones he loves. He tells the monster that humans may not be perfect, but they deserve to live before throwing it all in the fire. A few days later, as Shinichi does his homework, Migi tells him that since all the monsters have been killed, there's no need for it to be around anymore. Migi says that if it stays around, it could only cause problems for Shinichi with the authorities. Migi intends to go into hibernation for several years, decades, or perhaps till death, and in return, Shinichi will get his right hand back. Shinichi is heartbroken to hear his plans to leave, but Migi tells him that it is time for them to walk alone. Migi thanks Shinichi for everything before turning into a normal hand, as Shinichi breaks into tears. Some years pass by. Shinichi and Satomi meet to visit Tamiya's son, Taiki Tamiya. The baby seems to be fond of the two and runs to them. Afterwards, Shinichi goes to buy coffee for Satomi. Uragami, the serial killer from earlier in the movie, watches him leave and uses the opportunity to kidnap Satomi, taking her to the top of a building. Shinichi notices him and follows him to the roof. The deranged killer holds Satomi at knife point and states his belief that all humans are monsters because they have been killing each other since time immemorial. Uragami, who thinks that Shinichi is a parasite, then asks him for his opinion. Shinichi proceeds to reveal his identity to the killer, but Satomi discourages him from doing so. Angered, the killer pushes her off the building. Shinichi runs to save the girl. He punches the killer and extends his hand from the edge of the top. However, Satomi is beyond his reach. All the time he has spent with Satomi flashes before Shinichi's eyes. Suddenly, he realizes that he is holding Satomi's hand and pulls her to safety. As they breathe a sigh of relief, Shinichi figures out that Migi momentarily woke up to help him save Satomi. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.